From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One ball, corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Azan Hajavandi
And Corey Clark.
Yeah, that's right. That is right. The man throwing the deuces. That's Corey Clark, lead writer, senior writer for Warchant.com. I'm Azan Hajavandi. Thank you so much for being here. It is a live edition of Wake Up Warchant presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. CPTallybar.com, the website, 2475 Appalachia Parkway, the physical address. If you like the guy that was flashing the deuces on your screen or the one that'll be talking throughout this podcast on your speakers, come hang out with him. Happy hour going down 5 o'clock Friday at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Jeff Cameron, Corey Clark, Tom Lang will probably be out there. I'll probably be out there.
Okay.
Come hang out with us and enjoy the great food at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, the ice cold drinks and all the festivities, all the diversions, the darts, the billiards, everything. It's all there for your choosing.
Starting at 5 o'clock, 5 to 6 is when we'll be out there hanging. We'll call it the Warchant Hangout. And then, it's not bad, right? Meet and greet sounds too formal. Oh. So it'll be a hangout, and then, I can imagine I'll probably be at CP longer than just an hour.
Okay, very well. Very well. It's going to be a busy day, I feel like, here on the program as we broadcast live. Our guy, Aaron, cranked it up there. $20 in the jar. He just wants to get right to. We're not even going to go through a read. I just feel I need to pop that on the screen. Tinfoil hat time. I didn't even read this, so hopefully it's nothing too crazy. Well-documented FSU isn't the referee's favorites historically in the ACC. With FSU now hoping to leave the ACC, am I crazy to think the refs will now be salty and more motivated to squash our goals? Hope not.
I mean, I don't think it's that far-fetched, Aaron. Let's just say that. No, I don't think they'll go that. If it's 50-50 or if it's close, I feel like Florida State's going to lose a lot of those. It's going to be a lot of coin tosses that are lost on subjective calls, I think.
How does that filter down, though? I mean, I don't think the refs care, but it's like what? People in Charlotte float something to the ref like, hey, if we can help North Carolina win the ACC championship game, it would be.
Why don't you think the refs care?
Why do they care? What are
they going to lose? They're ACC officials. They love this conference. They're born and bred on this conference. Probably all of them are from North Carolina. Probably grew up in the mountains of North Carolina, Gastonia. And now these too good for ACC football teams going to turn up their nose at our conference. Screw them. I can see that happen. They're human beings. Look, it absolutely happened in the 90s where those games were not called evenly. But it wasn't for that reason. It was because they legitimately felt bad for the other players that Florida State was going up against. So they didn't call holding. They would call holding on Florida State. I absolutely think there's a human element that comes into play. I don't think it'll be I'm hoping, let's just put it that way. I'm hoping it won't be noticeable, but I would not be stunned. That Wake Forest game is going to be 11 on 18 for the whole game at Snuggy Hill. I am telling you, folks, that's why you need to get there and be loud, because it is going to be 18 on 11 on every play. It always is in Winston-Salem.
By the way, Aaron dropped that. Thank you, Aaron. By the way,
thank you. Yeah, very much.
$20 in the jar. I appreciate that. He dropped that at 12:47 p.m. on a Thursday. So almost like a goal, like 7 hours.
What do you mean? So you can write a question and leave a donation before the show even starts?
Yeah, you can hop in. It's on YouTube. The link is there. It's up and live. He also wants to say, Corey, as an Ocala resident, I apologize for the traffic. It truly is terrible.
It's ridiculous. Awful. What's up, Aaron? Why is it always like that? There's got to be a reason. And nobody, not one city commissioner or mayor or the FHP can figure out a way to get rid of that mess.
All right. Since we are live, we're also brought to you by our great friends over at Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Promo code is Warchant BOGO, BOGO. Shake it and take it. Shout out to Jeremy. Had an awesome time meeting the gang at Hooch on Saturday. Lost my phone approximately 7 hours after taking my 7-hour Vitamin Energy focus shot.
Yeah.
That's not the best sales pitch for us there,
Keep
Jeremy.
reading.
That can only mean the Vitamin Energy works. It delayed the inevitable.
Yeah. As soon as it wore off, my man was just cavalier with his phone. It's like, I don't care where it is. Who cares? I don't have any focus anymore.
Yeah, awesome time. Can't wait to do something similar to that again. Do you think we'll do something maybe Charlotte, no, but obviously playoff, yes. We'll have to rent out a bar and just paint the town red.
I mean, there's a good chance that we'll have if they're going to Charlotte, which we assume they will at this point, we'd have a pretty good heads up on them getting there, like earning a spot. So we'd have like 2 or 3 weeks of planning potential to have something on that Friday before the Charlotte game. The problem would be it'd have to be Friday night, number one. And when do people get into town to Charlotte? That's the question. But yeah, I think we would try to do something.
Yeah. I think Mike speaks for a lot of folks out there. I don't know if it's Mike Norvell. I don't think so. But says they want to see a fast start and fewer penalties.
Yeah.
So
hey, I agree. I think Mike Norvell feels the same way.
Southern Miss, good elixir probably for that. With that said, our guy Weldon Taylor, king of the car selfie, ride that photo out, Weldon. I love it, man. Do you think that we will see a lot of the freshmen play on Saturday?
Well, I mean, obviously the score will dictate that. So I don't know if look, if they have a big lead, then yes, you're going to see a ton of freshmen play. You saw a few play. I didn't even go back and count. I don't know how many played against LSU.
Who's that?
I don't know how many played against LSU. I mean, I know Hakeem played. Those freshman DBs played for one play.
I've got the defense pull. I mean, Quindarius played 1 rep, which was the bad rep.
Yep.
Conrad Hussey played 1 rep. KJ Kirkland, Edwin Joseph, 1 rep. Justin Cryer, Blake Nicholson, Ashlyn Barker played 9, so I think that was the most. But I don't know if I really want to call him. I guess he might be a true freshman, depending on his clock. I know he went to JUCO, but didn't play.
Yeah, I think he's a red shirt. He's a red shirt.
Yeah. So.
And then Hakeem played on offense. I don't know if any other freshman got in.
Destin Hill.
Destin Hill. That's right. So, yes. But the question is, I think the real question is, will they have a big enough lead that you get all these freshmen out there for substantial playing time, not just one? Now, to be fair, that defense was supposed to be on the field more than one play. Like they could have ended the game on the field and maybe gotten 8 or 10 reps, but they gave up a touchdown in one play. But I do think you'll see the freshmen play on Saturday if they get any sort of lead in the second half.
Our guy Irvin Williams says 10 played. Can't confirm that. Wow, look at this guy. It's been a minute since we saw Wilson Lemieux was a OG, man. He would hang out when we were doing this during the Willie years, man. So welcome back. If that's too hot, let me know, everybody. I really cranked it up because when I go back and edit the show for the podcast version of it, Corey, you can see our audio waves like an EKG meter. Like when we talk, it's this like big full spectrum of movement. But then when I hit the sounders, it's like nothing. So.
All right.
Anyway, second behind the curtain, everybody.
Right.
Welcome back, Wilson Lemieux. $10 in the jar. We appreciate you, man. Is there a chance that, given we're the only real hope for the ACC to make the college football playoff, the conference lets some things slide? I like that. Devil's advocate.
No, because I honestly think I could be completely wrong. I'm not wrong on this. The 14 other schools, I'm not going to count Notre Dame. So the 13 other ACC schools will be rooting against Florida State. Maybe Clemson would root for them if Florida State's in position. But North Carolina, NC State, Wake, Syracuse, BC, VT, Virginia, they're all going to be hoping Florida State doesn't make it. That's how pissed off they all are at Florida State. So I would think the conference doesn't. I honestly think the conference would probably prefer Florida State not to be good, to be an 8-4 team. Am I crazy for that, Aslan? I think the ACC is really worried that if Florida State goes 12-0 and puts up huge ratings in some marquee games down the road, if they get a chance, they know that's going to make them more appealing and alluring to other conferences, and it might not be in their best interest for Florida State to get to the college football playoff.
It'd be like fatten up your spouse so they don't leave you. Like here's cheesecake. Eat it every meal of the day. Don't want you leaving. I guess I could say, listen, they haven't announced they're leaving.
True.
We haven't announced that yet. So, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah, that would make Florida State all their, sort of hubris. If some people in the, triangle up there in North Carolina, Tobacco Road want to call it, but this would validate it if you go 12-0 and have the sort of explosive dynamic offense we think they're going to have for 11 more games. And then that, backs up your claims. Perhaps the SEC at that point is like, all right, they seem to be dedicated back to this football thing. And when you think about it, 3 coaches ago, a legend, coach after that won a national title. They hit a bit of a blip, and now they got this guy. So They're not Clemson, just hanging on to one guy here over the last 30 years, haven't done something well. But
Right.
I try not to think that far into conspiracy stuff. But I mean, I guess it could happen. I just, ultimately, though, doesn't Florida State making the playoff help the conference, their bottom line? Like, isn't Jim Phillips going to probably see more money in his pocket if a team from the conference makes the playoff?
Yeah, it helps their bottom line. And I guess what they could say to Florida State is, look, you talk about how much more money you need. Well, look, you just made the college football playoff with this grant of rights deal. So why can't you keep doing this for the next 13 years? And then obviously the counter is that is wait till we see what the new SEC deal is and then get back to us, because it's not going to be a 12 or $15 million difference. It'll be a 30 to $35 million difference. So yeah, it's interesting though. This is a rarefied kind of uncharted territory, what going through where you're not really sure if a conference is rooting for one of its member institutions to play well on the football field. And I'm genuinely saying I don't know if the ACC wants Florida State to be good, like this good. And that's a really weird place to be.
Yeah. I think Texas and Oklahoma made it easy on the Big 12 last year by not being great.
Yeah.
But again, Florida State has not announced they're leaving. So, but I understand, we all understand that Florida State has practically said they're not, but, they formally have not done that. Kayvon Tala, our guy, he was out in Orlando. It was nice to meet him.
Yep.
Tez Walker, the wide receiver transfer that's at North Carolina, was ruled ineligible for the year. I saw Mac Brown, the university, release some pretty strong worded statements. Seems like Jackson is done. I don't want to speak for you, Corey, but I think we were under the impression that, Darrell Jackson is done until the semester is over. But once the semester is over, he has then sat out. He has served his penalty, if you will. And then once the semester is over, that kind of coincides with preparation for the postseason, not the conference championship game, but the bigger sort of prizes. So at that point, we're under the impression that he would be eligible. He's out there practicing with the team still, so it's not like he's just sitting at home taking online classes, twiddling his thumbs. He's still involved with his team, so he would be ready to go, provided he's healthy and that our understanding of the way this works is accurate.
Yeah, but I think the hope was he would be eligible for 10 games, not one.
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing. That's what he's talking about. Tez, there was hope. It was an outside chance, but there was hope if Tez Walker's case was ruled that he was eligible, because it was just denied today for the final time. If he would have been granted eligibility, that Darrell Jackson would have had a fighting chance, would have been granted eligibility too. They could have been grandfathered in together. The NCAA said no. Mac Brown, that's a strongly worded a rebuke of the NCAA that I've ever seen in written form that was released publicly through the university. He ends it with "shame on you, NCAA" in all caps. I mean, it's really pretty. It speaks for itself. But yeah, so if Tez Walker, who I think had a better claim anyway, than Darrell Jackson, is ruled ineligible, Darrell Jackson's not going to be playing football for Florida State. It's too long to read the whole thing, but you can see the bottom where he says, "Shame on you, NCAA."
Shame on you.
That's like me with Brady. When I say him I'm mad at him and I say something and then it clicks on me, I'm like, I got to yell that at him. That's what Mac Brown did with "Shame on you, NCAA."
Eric Angel says, guys, Corey, if we blow out Clemson by 20 or more, would you run down the hill? Shirt off, bathing yourself in champagne?
No, but I do feel like I promised something if they were 4-0 after September, and I can't remember what that was. But on this show or headlines, I feel like I promised something. It was not that, but it was something that would be, me being a clown and a dancing monkey for everyone. But I don't know. I don't know exactly what it was. Hopefully somebody can remind me. But I won't do that. But the beauty about Clemson is you're on the field either way. Win or lose, they let you on the field, and you can just do whatever you want as a fan.
Rob Krause, right off the bat, can I get some love for my guy Deuce? 100% completion percentage. And our guy Ralph in Hawaii says, let's go Deuce Spawn.
Deuce Spawn in the house.
Deuce Spawn in the crib.
Yeah, come on, Chris. But I don't think we talked enough about that play because it ended up being a blowout. Right. But wasn't that when it was 17-17?
I think
that was the first drive of the second half, I think, because I think Keon caught a touchdown on the next play. or the second to sometime on. I know it was in the third quarter.
I thought that drive ended in a field goal, but I'm going to pull it up.
So then maybe that was the first drive in it. But if he takes a sack right there, who knows how the game goes?
Yes.
And also we haven't talked enough about, man, that is a rope on the run. The first college pass he's thrown in, I guess, 2 years or maybe his life. I don't remember if he threw a pass last year or not.
I don't think so.
I don't think he did. But for him, a kid that has not made hardly any plays at Florida State, any big plays at all, for him to come in that moment, the play is not open. It was not well designed. It was one of the few mistakes I thought they made in the second half with play calling. For him to make a play like that was really impressive.
3rd and 1. That opening drive of the second half ended in a field goal. So it was 17-14. That tied it up.
They're behind right there. That play helps them tie the game. That's crazy. That's what a throw by him. It was really impressive.
Philip Morris, but not that Philip Morris.
Right.
I don't think.
What a name. You think that's his real name, Philip Morris? It's probably. You wouldn't just make that up.
It's a Facebook guy, so it's got to be tied to his Facebook account.
Yeah.
So a little bit more legitimacy. During the spring-fall preseason and the LSU game, do you see a big difference in play and practice from the coaching change at the cornerback position? Go Noles. I'll see you guys Saturday. I still feel like they go through the same drills in individual work early on, but they certainly seem to play faster and more aggressive. And I don't know how much of that's Patrick Surtain, how much of that Renardo just being here for whatever, the 4th, 5th year now, and Jarian's been playing football for a long time. Greedy's played football for a long time, but they certainly are more aggressive.
Yeah, I think so. And I think there are a couple different drills that I've seen this year, and for the life of me, I can't remember them right now that I don't remember seeing that seemed like they were brought in with Surtain. But they just seem to attack the ball more in one-on-ones. They're not just trying to not give up a pass. They're trying to go catch the pass. And again, we'll see. It's one interception, but Daniels doesn't throw interceptions. He threw 3 all of last year, and you got him for 1 in that game. And there was another play, and now it wasn't the DBs necessarily, but I think it was Patrick Payton that deflected a ball that was almost another interception. I thought Azarie had some good coverage a couple of times. I think you're going to see a much better secondary on playing the ball than you did last year, and hopefully that results in more turnovers.
Wes in the Villages. Hey, fellas, great seeing you to Hooch. Question is, didn't seem to make a difference with the new clock rule since we scored almost half 100. Your thoughts? Go Noles. Now, Mike Norvell said as much too, right? Like, they found themselves maybe going to a 4-minute offense with 7 minutes left.
Yeah, so the only time I really even thought about it was in the fourth quarter when Florida State had the 31-17 lead, and then I think it was LSU had to punt. They had like 3rd and 18. They threw a 5-yard pass. And Bob Ferrante from the Osceola was like, man, you might want to go. You were right next to him, right? He's like, you might want to go for it here because if you give the ball back, by the time they're done with that drive, you might not have enough time left. And I watched the drives after that. And I would say it probably sped up those drives. It probably erased 35 or 45 seconds total that would have been there for LSU last year. So not a huge difference, but not nothing. And I think the NCAA released a statement saying that the games were 20 minutes shorter and 4.5 plays shorter. Now, I don't know if it's 4.5 plays per team or just 4.5 plays, and that's over the course of one full weekend, that it was 4.5 plays shorter than the first weekend last year. So not a huge change. And I think a lot of that too, Aslan, had to do with the referees were really quick on the clock the last few years anyway, after a first down. They were supposed to let it get set, let the chains move, but they were really quick to get that thing winding. So yeah, I didn't really notice it until Florida State got that 38-17 lead. And then LSU was, still, I guess, technically had a a very slim chance. The clock just seemed to roll a little bit quicker than normal. They'd get a first down out of bounds, and the clock would still roll after a couple seconds delay.
We weren't complaining about it that night, huh, guys? So shout out to T. Giddy, a.k.a. Thomas Giddings, dropping a bag. 2 bags, actually. Let's
go.
$2 $20.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Corey, is widening the turnpike and I-75 and all other major roads your first action as Florida's Secretary of Transportation?
Probably. It's a great question, Thomas. The turnpike is number one. That is, and the beauty of it is, I feel like all of Florida has been under construction since I was 4 years old, and that will just keep it going in perpetuity for the next 20 years. It's like painting the Golden Gate Bridge. As soon as you're done with it, you got to start all over again. That's how it would be with this. But yes, that would absolutely be my first order of business is the turnpike, and then really not all of I-75, just one 15-mile pocket is going to get widened immediately, or build another highway on top of it. That's what I'm going to do. Think of all the jobs I would add if I-75 was a double-decker highway all through the state of Florida.
Yeah. Corey's just a one-man economic stimulus. I love it.
Florida State would be able to get that roof for Doak. It'd be no problem.
Just remember, Thomas adds, you have to do before you get too old due to your lobbying for upper age limits on government officials.
Oh, is there an age limit for how old you can be to lobby?
Well, you're saying, you would lobby for these age limits to be intact. So if you
correct. Oh, yeah, that's right. Good call, Ty. That's right, for the president. Thank you, and thank you very much for the donations there. The tips. Sorry, T. Giddings, you're the best, buddy.
Yeah. Which, by the way, somebody in the comments section was like, "Stop complaining about the turnpike. Get Sun Pass already." And it's like, hey, there's no express lane on the turnpike. It doesn't matter if you have the Sun Pass or you don't.
Buddy, do you think me not having the Sun Pass would keep me from being in the Sun Pass lane? Are you high? I'll pay the fine. They told my ticket. That's fine. That's crazy. And it's not even a fine. I think they make you pay what you would have owed if you had the Sun Pass if you get caught. No, man, I would be in that lane all the time if there was one.
Benjamin Tukert. I'm never going to remember it, Benjamin, but we appreciate you hanging out. Good or bad, what was the most surprising matchup result from the LSU game? I mean, I like Malik Neighbors, but I didn't think he was going to go nuts. But I wouldn't have been surprised if he went 6 for 110 and a touchdown. So I was a little bit surprised they kept them in check that much. I mean, Harold Perkins, I think, rated out the absolute worst on LSU's defense, if I'm not mistaken, on PFF.
Wow, really? Again, we take those with a Bishop Thomas hates PFF, as we talked about on last show. Have you watched that clip yet? It's still impossible to think that was a 60 grade. But Perkins is a good one. But I don't even think it was Florida State. That wasn't even a matchup. I just think they didn't utilize him right. I don't know why you just kind of marginalize what he does well if he's just standing back there looking at a quarterback and not rushing him. But I would say the defensive line against the LSU traditional running game, I thought they would do well, but I thought they would do well because Fabian Lovett and Fisk would play a lot more than they did, and Farmer. But getting those reps from Malcolm Ray and still not losing anything, I thought was very, very encouraging moving forward. Like, they didn't miss a beat. Fabian Lovett played 20 snaps. I don't know how many times he was on the field when they ran the ball, but it wasn't every time. And they did nothing. No matter who the defensive line was, they did nothing in the running game.
Man, if you go back and listen to the LSU podcast we were on, obviously they talked about Perkins and Brian Kelly too. Obviously talked about Harold Perkins. Sage Ryan's a guy that was a 5-star defensive back that, Brian Kelly said that he's great in space. He's such a great tackler. Major Burns and Greg Brooks were two of their safeties that they felt really great about. Savion Jones, a guy that's been there forever, but he's built like Adonis, but does not play like Adonis. All those guys, look at those grades. They're all in the bottom, bottom third of their PFF grades, which again, we don't totally put all of our eggs into that basket, but pretty eye-opening stuff there. So
but we knew they played bad. We watched the game.
Yeah, that's true. Michael Carpenter, do you think Darrell Jackson will come back next year instead of going to the NFL? I think with NIL, it's highly possible.
I think I would take the word highly out, but it is possible. If he's eligible for a playoff or a bowl game and plays in it and plays well, then maybe it's not as possible as it is right now. I think there's a chance because right now, look, man, he can be as good as he wants to be in practice. He can have all the measurables. He hasn't done enough on the college football level to get drafted in the first 2 rounds. The first 2 days, right? I don't think that's a probability at all, no matter what he does at the combine, because nobody's seen him. He doesn't have enough game film, like good tape, for somebody to say that's a guy that's going to be on our defensive line for the next 7 years or whatever he would get as his 3rd round pick. So he does need to put something on tape. Now, if he goes out in the Sugar Bowl against Georgia and looks dominant, well, then yeah, you're probably going to lose him.
I was going to say that it reminded me maybe of the Cardell Jones situation with Ohio State several years ago when they ended up winning the national championship. But he played a significant amount of that season. I thought he kind of came on in the last 3 or 4 games, and he went from a no name to possibly being an NFL high pick. He ends up going in the 4th round. So I don't know. I mean, I agree. I think it's possible. I might say highly possible. If they make the playoff, I mean, he would have to do some really impressive stuff. I mean, Florida State wins the national to make it.
I'm assuming that maybe if he does, that it's going to be hard. But I can tell you this: I think that is absolutely going to be a priority, because you're losing Fabian, you're losing Fisk. If you have Darrell Jackson and Joshua Farmer next year, and you got the portal still coming. That's a pretty nice 1-2 combo at defensive tackle. So they're definitely want him to come back. They're going to make it a priority that he comes back. But if he, again, we have to get clarification on if he would be eligible to play past the semester. In fact, we should probably ask that next week when we get Norvell. That's a good question to ask, I think, in light of the UNC news with their wide receiver, if he would be eligible to come back and play in a bowl game. Because if he plays well, it might be tough. But I don't know that.
What we do know is that Vitamin Energy gives you the kick into your day that you need, makes you better, gives you that extra 1%. Some might even say 7%. 7 hours of energy. It's fantastic. You take it wherever you got to go. It's less than 2 ounces in the bottle. Our guy Caleb James says, speaking of Vitamin Energy, I ordered a case of the variety pack, which is right here behind me. This thing's got 4 different varieties. I think it's got 2 workouts, a focus, and a mood. I used the promo code WarChantBogo, just waiting for it to arrive.
Okay, Caleb. Good job.
Caleb. Yeah,
and also my man Bill, not Bill the CP owner, Bill the trainer, that got this the whole journey started. He said he used it. He sent me a screenshot of his workout after using Vitamin Energy, and how it spiked all his measurables. And he did. I'm putting words into his mouth, but I don't care, Bill. You're part of the ad read. He's never going back. It's just Vitamin Energy for him forever.
VitaminEnergy.com. Energy with benefits. Shake it and take it. Use the promo code WarChantBogo. Buy one, get one free. Give it to a friend. Stock up your office. Be the cool person at everybody's desk they want to come by and talk about the Florida State game. Hey, I saw your favorite team won last night. By the way, can I get one of those shots again? Be the cool person. VitaminEnergy.com. Use that promo code WarChantBogo. Thanks for the shout out, Caleb. We appreciate it. I don't want to do this, but I'm just going to put it on the screen. I don't have to, but I don't want to do this, guys. I don't want to do this all the time. Fill in the blank, fellas.
Here we go.
The 2023 FSU team reminds me of the blank FSU team.
Even we were getting those before the game, and now we're getting them after the game, and it's almost.
We know what you want us to say. We're not saying it yet, though.
Yeah, there's no chance we're saying. Let's just see. Like the 2013 team didn't really look like the 13 team until the Maryland game. They gave up 34 at Boston College, and then the flip switched, and they were the best team in the. You know what I meant? The best team in the country for the rest of the season. So let's see where they are at the end of September, and then I promise everyone I'll come up with a comp, a good comp. But it's hard right now. The offense is 13-esque. I will say that because of what you have out wide. Different kinds of players, but the production in the mismatches out wide. You got a quarterback that can really run it and see it. I mean, he can run the offense and see the defense. He's really, really talented. And you've got a really good tight end and a good running game. So, and an experienced offensive line. So there's a lot to like in that comp from this team to that team.
I'll say reminds me of the 2016 FSU team. They were both 1-0 after the first game of the year. And they beat SEC teams in Orlando.
That's true, and they were top 5 in the country, both of them. Yeah, and it's something.
And they had to rally, and they rallied back in the second half to win the game. I mean, it's crazy.
If this team ends up being like that 2016 team, that's going to be very, very disappointing. And I just mean from a maybe an effort standpoint.
James L, not to be confused with Pillar James B, but James L, he's here, y'all. $20. Thank you, James L. Seen you both at Howling Wolf, but missed you this year at Hooch, as I did not drive until Sunday. A lot of folks did that. My brother and friends mostly did that. Any chance Brock Glenn beats out Tate Rodemaker for the number 1 quarterback position next year? P.S. Corey, next ab workout on YouTube, we'll get it all together for you. Trust.
Is he saying that the next one I watch, or I do an ab workout on YouTube and put it on our YouTube channel?
I read this as there's something called the next ab.
Oh, okay. I got you. I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. I did a good ab workout today, gang. You would have been proud of me. Crunches,
show us. Lift the shirt up,
no
boys.
chance. But crunches out the yin yang. Tough on a Bosu ball too. Yes, there absolutely is a chance that Brock Glenn wins the starting job next year.
Okay.
Right? You wouldn't disagree with that. And thank you very much, James, for the tip. We really do appreciate that. But yeah, I do think that Brock has a chance to win that job. Do you not?
I mean, I don't know what
would you put it at? I'd put it at 33%. Tate's my leader, but I still think he's got a 33% chance.
If it was my bookie, it would be, I think the portal is plus 125. I think Tate Rodemaker is like plus 300. I think Brock Glenn's plus 425.
That's fair. I think Brock would actually be low. I think Brock's probably like plus 600.
Okay.
Just because he's, Rodemaker's been here 4 years. And it, look, if Florida State's offense is as good as we think it is, and this team is as good as we think it is, I'm not predicting it's going to be garbage time on the road every week like at Boston College, but there should be plenty of opportunities to see Tate Rodemaker lead the offense 2 or 3 times, and then maybe to see Brock Glenn at the end of a game. That I do think that'll tell you something. I do think that'll tell you something. I want to see Tate Rodemaker again. We haven't seen him. I mean, we saw him. I guess we saw him a lot in the second half of the season, but they were up by so much he didn't really get to do a lot. And I guess theoretically they would do the same thing. But I think this year, don't you, Aslan? If they have a 38-6 lead on Southern Miss late in the third quarter this year, or Saturday, they put Rodemaker in the game. I don't think it's just 3 handoffs. I think they want him to run the offense because they do have an eye towards the future, and they want to make sure he would be capable if Jordan went down with a sprained ankle or something.
Shout out to Ant dropping $2 in the jar. Thank you, Ant. Kind of you. Ant says he's got a good feeling we're going to go 12-0.
What about you, Aslan? You do too, I think.
Why not 13-0? I mean, if you're going to, we're going to lose to North Carolina. We're going to lose.
Well, he didn't say 12-1. He wasn't implying a loss. He's just saying the regular season was.
Why not say 13 though? Why are we not going to talk about?
Well, then why not 15-0? And I appreciate the good vibes. We're just talking about regular season here. We don't look ahead to the playoffs. We're just talking about regular season. So, look, they're going to be favored in every game. If they stay healthy, every game on their schedule, they're going to be favored. So, it wouldn't be a stunner if they won them all.
Patrick Vickers is here. I don't know if that's a new name, new face. Solid headshot, though, Patrick.
Absolutely.
Very good. Nice to see the tie. It's in his color pack, in his color wheel. Makes it pop. It's bold. Drops $10 in the jar. Just wants to say love the show, guys.
Thank you, Patrick. We appreciate it, man. We love you.
Thank you, man. If you got a question, man, I'm trying to do a little bit more than usual here today, but I'll try to scan through here and see if I can find it. But go ahead and pose a question, man. We'd love to hear what you got to talk about. Pete Mercer's here. Pete Mercer looks like a new name, too. Welcome, everybody. I think we're losing. I think we've lost the LSU contingent.
Yes.
That was hanging around for the last few days, which we appreciate you guys. If you are still out there, if you have LSU fans that are friends, let them know that they can hang out. We appreciate clicks. Pete Mercer, $20 in the jar. Thank you, Pete.
Thank you, Pete. We appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Pete. Hi, guys. My question is, Why is Deion Sanders getting all the transfer portal love when Mike Norvell has been doing this for 3 years? I just get tired of
delusional. I think delusional is where we're going with that one. Yeah.
Okay. Delusional media people not giving my coach credit he deserves. Thank you, all caps.
Well, it's a fair enough question. I think Deion, look, they were the worst team in Power 5 last year, and they just won on the road with a whole new team. So I think he had a different, like Norvell has completely flipped the roster compared to what it was 3 years ago. I mean, it's obviously it's not even night and day. That doesn't even do it justice. It's like night and rice pudding. Like they're two different things completely. They're not even times of day anymore. But he did it over 3 years. Deion did it in a year. Like Deion had to flip the entire thing. By the way, I think he could use Casey Roddick. I'm going to throw that out there. I think he would like Casey Roddick to still be on the team as they move forward. So I think that's more. And also, it's Deion. It's he is going to bring. He's a magnetic dude that just, and I mean magnetic, and like he is a magnet for attention, which I guess is the definition of magnetic. But yeah, so I think that's why he gets what he did at Colorado. They had 49 transfers, which is 50 transfers on a team is just incredible. And I mean it's not incredible as in like I don't mean that as a compliment necessarily. It's just as like that's an incredible number. So, but look at where Florida State is ranked. I think Norvell is getting his just. I mean, we'll see where this season goes, but if he keeps winning games and they're going to be number 2 in the country in 2 months, he'll get plenty of love for what he's done in the transfer portal. And I mean, they sell shirts called Portal King for Mike Norvell. So he's getting some love, but I just think Deion is the story of the day. He's the story of the first part of the college football season. That win was an impressive win, considering what TCU is, because they lost a lot. But Colorado was so bad last year. That Colorado team would have lost to 2020 Florida State by 4 touchdowns. That's how bad that Colorado team was. So for him to get them to be able to win on the road at all, just win a game, is pretty remarkable. And he's a big personality, and people are going to be he's going to get a lot of attention. That's just how Deion has been for 35 years.
I mean, just think about having to get that many guys on the same page to play a football game in that short amount of time, because it's staggering to think about. So that's why it is. And for whatever reason, On3's got their team rankings in the portal. I think 247 does as well. And for whatever reason, they factor in the guys that you've lost, Sam McCall, Trayshawn Ward. These guys were calibrated as being like highly, valued pieces, which,
right.
It could be. So that's why it factors into the numbers that you see.
I didn't even check. Did Sam McCall play?
I don't know.
I'll look that up. You take the next question. I got PFF. I can look that up.
I was going to say, though, I think low key, though, I don't think any head coach wants to be known as the portal guy. So I'm sure like Norvell isn't bothered by this. And other coaches that have been using the portal, like Lane Kiffin or I, like, all right, like Deion wants to take that crown and people want to talk about him synonymous with the transfer portal. That's fine by us, because I don't think any coach really wants to be known by it. Because when we bring it up to Norvell, he's quick to be like, hey, man, like 60% of our recruiting class was high school players. So don't give me that.
I was wrong. I can't look it up. It's on you. It's all about you, Aslan.
Okay. Well, it's all.
But I was there. Oh, James B.
It's all about James B. Theme music coming up.
What?
James B. Pace
Always
yourself,
in the
man.
house. Yep.
Long season, brother. He's a pillar. He's got 2 tomahawks by his name, because that's how he rolls. $200 in the jar, man. James B, thank you, man. Appreciate the heck out of you. I'm late. Just woke up from a nap. My man.
Yeah.
My man. On some pain meds. Unfortunately, not making it to the game this week. I hope you're all right, man. Hope you're feeling good, man. Sending good vibes to you there.
Yeah, I know what it is, and I don't know. We don't. HIPAA isn't a part of Wake Up Warchant, is it? It's an arm thing. He I think he tore his bicep or something. James, I apologize for it. It's an elbow arm thing. So he had the surgery, and he said his doctor gave him strict orders that he can't travel for a couple of weeks. So he'll be back for the Virginia Tech game. Which, by the way, We go a full month without a home
Yeah.
game at Doak. That's that's crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah. But James B, you're the best, man. Was very nice to Brady and Shanna at the event in Orlando.
Yes, because it works out at Boston College, at Clemson, off week.
Off week, then Virginia Tech. Then I think 3 of the 4 weekends in October are home games.
Yeah. So, all right. Do you guys think we see a backup quarterback this weekend? Oh yeah. And if so, who will be first on the field?
Oh, it would be Rodemaker. Again, yes, I do think we'll see one, but they're not going to. I hope they don't do the Kentucky Derby thing and just put Rodemaker in for one snap in the second quarter, the whole second team offense. Let's not do that anymore. But I do think that they'll have a big enough lead that Rodemaker will that they'll get to use at least one backup quarterback. But it's got to be Rodemaker. Like it's his 4th year. He's still here. Like so many of people in his position would have left. And Jordan Travis's backup would be a true freshman. So, I think that they out of loyalty, if nothing else. And also, I'm not saying Tate hasn't been the second best quarterback on the roster. I think he has. But even if they don't necessarily think he's a part of their future plans, and again, I'm not saying that, you would still reward the loyalty by letting him go take the first reps when the game's already in hand. He's still here, man. And you look around the country, there aren't a lot of Tate Rodemakers out there that will be a backup for 4 straight years, waiting their turn like it's the 90s. But that's what he's done. They want to reward him for that, and he's earned it.
Is there a chance that all the scholarship quarterbacks don't play?
Yeah. You think all 4 would get in the game?
Well, is there a chance that 3 out of the 4?
I think you're asking, is there a chance that Brock Glenn plays and A.J. Duffy doesn't? Yeah. Is that your way of asking that question?
Yeah.
I think, yes, there is.
James B., thanks, man. Hope you feel better. Applesauce. It's good for the stomach when you're taking that stuff and you can't, maybe feel a little nauseous. Ginger ale, too.
Okay.
It's on your side.
Well,
Appreciate you.
Dr. A-Train now.
Mom's a nurse. My mom's a nurse.
That's right.
Quantrell knows he's peppered this like 3 times, so I'm going to pop it up for you, Corey. After Desmond Ridder disappoints, which round do you think the Falcons could get Jordan Travis in? Imagine a Bijan Robinson, Jordan Travis backfield. Mercedes would be rocking.
I'll be honest. I love Jordan Travis. Nobody's a bigger fan of Jordan Travis except for Devin than I am. I want to get Caleb Williams. So if we're going to lose, I want to go 0-17 and get Caleb Williams. I think Jordan Travis, man, you look at the NFL now. It's I know they still fall in love with these 6'5" guys, but that's not all that position is anymore. You just look around the league. There's too many guys that aren't 6'6" statues anymore that are at least starting. Maybe not the best players, but some of them are. I mean, Kyler Murray struggled a little bit, but there's other examples of not the biggest guys in the world that can still make plays in the NFL. I think, where'd Stetson Bennett get drafted? 4th round?
4th round, I think.
I just think if Stetson Bennett's a 4th round pick, and maybe he's an example of, maybe he becomes like the example of why not to draft a small kid. I don't know. And again, Jordan Travis isn't small. I shouldn't have phrased it like that. He's just not 6'5", which is what most of these guys are. I think he could play himself into a 2nd or 3rd round pick. Like if he ends up in New York, which is not at all out of the realm of possibility. If he winds up in New York for the Heisman ceremony, I think a 2nd round pick isn't absolutely out of the equation.
I see. Where did Max Duggan get drafted, or Duggan from TCU? Some of their similar builds, but that's a guy that
I think
obviously
he's better than that kid.
Yeah, I do too, but just trying to see if there's some sort of barometer here on it. He went 7th round.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, he's
yeah.
I think he's better than that.
Yeah.
Look, he's not going to wow you with the crazy arm strength. He's just not. But decision making, getting rid of the ball quick, pocket presence, all these things that he's developed over the last 2 years, man, to a place where he feels elite in some of that stuff. Where 2 years ago you just were like, Jordan, if the first read's not there, take it off and get 40 yards, man. Just go run. It's been a remarkable journey for that kid.
I think Jim Nagy with the Senior Bowl was on a podcast, and I didn't listen to it, but I think Ira retweeted it, and he said that Jordan Travis he's a point guard facilitator at quarterback. So that to me sounds like mid-round pick. Like, I don't think first-round pick, second-round pick has that kind of
No,
designation.
I do think the size and again, just the arm strength. He's not again. If you look at that ball that Keon caught down the middle of the field to get him off the goal line, it was like a 42, 41-yard pass. That's not a howitzer throwing that ball. But look at where it's dropped into.
No.
You know what I mean? I don't know that Jordan Travis can throw it 65 yards in the air. I also know that I haven't seen a lot of quarterbacks complete 65-yard in the air passes in the NFL. I see a lot of guys dinking and dunking for 12 yards here and 16 yards there. They just see it quick. And he doesn't have Mahomes' arm. We get it. But he can I absolutely think he can play in the league.
Okay. Fatal Jedi 2672. Does any other ACC team have to get good wins and a record for FSU to make the playoffs? They need 9-3 is the floor. Like if they beat an 8-4 ACC team, if they're undefeated, they're getting in. So I guess point is moot, right? They can't lose.
Yes, if they can't, they wouldn't lose. But if they go 11-1, but one of their wins is over a 10-win ACC team, or maybe two of their wins. Like maybe they beat Clemson twice, or maybe they beat Duke twice, or whoever else is in the championship game, and Duke finishes with a 9-3 record, but two of their losses are to Florida State. But Florida State slipped up at Pitt or something. But if I think you got a chance. I really do think you got a chance, and I also think we can't lose sight of the fact that maybe the committee gets tired of Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State every year. And maybe if Ohio State and Florida State are both 11-1 or 12-1, both won their conferences, maybe they go with the team that hasn't been in the playoff for 9 years. Oh, and has Jordan Travis, has a star player that people are going to want to watch. I think the real question when it comes to that, look, if they win out, they're going to be in the playoff. If I wonder, can Jordan win the Heisman without another marquee, high-profile game against a very good team?
Yeah,
that's a question that I'm not sure can be answered because Jameis really only had Clemson, didn't he? But Miami was 7th in the country when they played him. I know it was inflated and nonsensical, but they were 7th. And Jameis was so clearly the best player in the country that's a different situation. So never mind. Sorry, Aslan. Continue.
MyBookie.ag, where you can bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Florida State, speaking of the ACC, clearly now the odds-on favorite to win the conference that they were picked preseason second in. They're now plus 102, which I don't know, man. That's not great value, but it's not bad. I mean, it should be minus something, I would think, at this point. North Carolina plus 740. That might be your value play there. The Canes plus 1450. Not where you want to be, Miami. Not where you want to be. But I don't know. Best of luck against A&M this weekend or not? Who knows?
Yeah, who you rooting for in that game?
I don't know, man. I think
you got to root for A&M, right? It's still Miami.
Yeah.
You don't want Miami to enjoy anything. You want them to stay a kind of a bit of a dumpster.
It'd be cool though if they were ranked 12th when they come to Tallahassee, though. I wouldn't mind beating these teams. I wouldn't mind seeing them good again when we can and beating them. That'd be. Sure. I love beating them. I'm never going to complain about beating Florida and Miami, but it sure would be nice to beat 1996 Florida. It'd be nice to beat 93 Miami. Maybe sure. 96 Florida wasn't the best example. They got a rematch. That's malarkey. That's how you guys win your first national title.
And they did beat 93 Miami.
Yeah. So that's what I would go with. Use the promo code WARCHANT when you go to mybookie.ag. Where you can bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Get an instant cash deposit bonus. MyBookie.ag. Again, that promo code is WARCHANT. Nate. Big Nate.
Nate Dogg.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Hey, guys. Love the show. Thanks, Nate. Appreciate that, man. Since our game is a bit of a sleeper this weekend, let me ask you about a rival. Oh, look at that. I should read the words on the screen before I pop them up sometimes. Is winning this weekend more important for Miami or Texas A&M? Heard it on another show. Thought it was a great question.
It is a great question. And thank you very much, Nate. That's very nice of you to do that.
A&M. Mario still got some leeway. Jimbo's got to win games, man. He's got to win games.
Yeah. I guess A&M. Yeah, it probably is more important because they always have expectations there. They somehow started the season ranked after that 5-7 campaign a season ago. They feel good about themselves because they put up a lot of points against whoever that was they played. If they can go to Miami and win, and then that's more important. I think that's more important. It would be a bigger win to them than it would be Miami, in my opinion. But it's a good question, and I'm what a fascinating game that's going to be to watch. I'm genuinely interested in that and how that turns out. Jimbo's never lost to Miami though, right? Is he like 8-0 against them or something? Or no, he lost his last time here.
17, yeah.
Because of that. Anyway. Crazy that you just let them run by you. Just play prevent and see if they kick a field goal. Anyway, sorry. That he told us after the game they were in prevent. It's like, well, that's funny because it was man-to-man on the outside, and McFadden, who got beat a lot, got beat with 4 seconds left for the game-winning touchdown. Sorry, go ahead.
I felt so good when James Blackman threw that touchdown to Ryan Izzo. It's like, man, we're going to win this game. This kid's going to be all right as a quarterback. It's all good.
Yep. I think it was not to correct you. I don't like being that guy all the time. I don't want to mansplain to you, but I think that touchdown was to Auden Tate.
Was it Auden Tate?
Only because it happened right in front of me back when they used to let us on the field.
Oh, okay. Auden Tate then.
Yeah. I did too.
South Carolina, stand up.
Because I think that game was like 3-0 at half, and then Blackman seemed to actually feel pretty good about himself, and that was a really important drive for him. It was a game-winning drive, and then it ended up not being a game-winning drive.
I shouldn't have popped this up. It's a good question, but I don't want to talk about the future, man. We have a team that's going to make the playoff quite possibly, so I don't want to look to the future.
Come on, man. You can't pop it up and not read the question.
I know. That's what happens when I don't have Josiah back there to help me. Looking to the future, where do you see where we would need the biggest improvement at from this year's team? I mean, assuming everyone that's eligible to leave does so.
Quarterback. But that's almost too obvious. So the next question is, or the next spot is, there's a lot. That's the thing about this team. It is so old and so experienced. I would say.
But they're going to get a quarterback. They're going to get receivers. Like, what are you worried that they won't be able to replicate and replace?
Honestly, receivers. And only because they're going to get good. They're going to have good players. Hakeem's good. Van Dravius is good. I think Destin could be a star maybe. But you have special guys right now. Can you go get will somebody on the roster turn into special, or can you go get special like you got Keon Coleman? That to me is a big question. I think, you're going to lose Jaheim, but I think Morlock has a chance to be a really dynamite player. So probably O-line though, maybe, because you're just going to lose. Well, no, Maurice is still eligible, right? Darius is still eligible. I think Robert Scott's still eligible to come back.
Yeah.
So, those guys are all going to end up starting 68 games in their college careers. They're all going to set records.
Yeah, well, Maurice played in 19, but everybody got a red shirt in 20. He might have got a red shirt in 19 too, even though he played a little bit. But they had 20, 21, 22, and 23. Yeah, I do wonder if it's receivers because, I saw something about Alabama and what they're going through here. That we think about, the image of like Derrick Henry at midfield of like the playoff game, and how huge he was compared to like Mark Ingram. And you think about Eddie Lacy running through Notre Dame. But man, like that, the second part of whatever Saban's dynasty run that he's had here at Alabama has just been, it's Julio Jones, it's Calvin Ridley, it's Ruggs and Waddle and Judy on the same team. It's these nasty wide receivers, Jameson Williams, like
it's the Heisman winner.
Yeah,
like
Devontae Smith.
They just rolled through them. They had nothing but special there for 5 or 6 years, and maybe the guys they have now are special. I don't know. I didn't watch that game.
They're not.
You have some special right here, and there's no guarantee you can carbon copy that. And so that's what. But they'll be good at receiver next year. They just might not be special. So I don't even know if that's the right answer.
All right.
Kicker. I think Fitzmagic might only be a junior.
I kind of want to pull this question up just because I know it's obviously I'm not going to. It's a gag question, but I just want the guy to know like I'm hip to the gag question. I would have popped it up just to have fun with it. I wouldn't have read it out loud. Don Rorick, look at Don. Don's like feeling the good vibes of this team and then just dropping bags.
Old D train.
Thank you, Don. Appreciate it, man. Don Rourke with $20 in the jar. Let's keep the main thing the main thing. Take care on Saturday's game. One opponent at a time. Let's go.
Yep. Hey, I'm not looking ahead, Don. Might sound like it. I'm already talking about having a remote show in Charlotte. That's just talk, though. I'm focused solely on the Golden Eagles on Saturday night. And, yeah, man, crazy things have happened. I think, and I'm actually writing a column about this, this, to me, is such a big culture game to not get caught up in how good you were and to actually go and take care of business, because it's not just that Southern Miss is a bowl team. They are an old team. They're old experience. They're not going to be overwhelmed by playing in Doak. They might be overwhelmed by your talent, but they're not going to just show up to get steamrolled. They're going to come here and try to be competitive and try to beat you. And it has this team, the one thing it did so well after the 3-game losing streak last year, and really before that with BC, was jump on teams they were better than and steamroll them. And I want to see if they can do that on a short week after that's the biggest win any of those guys have ever had in their careers. And they've got a short week. Everybody's telling them how awesome they are. And I think what I heard Jeff talking about this on his show earlier in the week about the emotion and how there's no way they're going to be as emotionally fired up on Saturday night as they were on Sunday night in Orlando. That's to be understood. But that's not really where games are won or lost, is on emotion, because if they get down 14-6 in the second quarter, they're going to start playing really, really hard because they're going to want to go win a championship. I don't think emotion is the problem on the game day. They'll get fired up eventually because they're playing a football game in front of thousands of people that are cheering them on. So the emotion will take care of itself, I think. It's what did they do from Monday to Friday? That's where you feel like you get to know the maturity of a team, is how much did they dial in from Monday to Friday to get ready for this game on Saturday night. That's what will show up. That's what I hope shows up when they play Southern Miss.
Well said.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks again, Don. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to John. I feel like I might have forgot to shout him out on the Monday program.
Oh, that's right. We signed a hat.
Yeah, John. So John came up to me. I was a couple drinks under, but I hadn't met Omar yet and hadn't had all the shots that pushed me over the edge. But, he's a younger guy. Kind of looks fratty, which is cool, man. Girls like that. I looked fratty, too, probably when I was in college. And he said, hey, man, will you sign my hat? I'm like, am I being punked?
Right.
What? It was a beautiful hat. It's like the old Bobby Bowden circular Florida State cursive script hat. Beautiful hat. He got it from Garnet and Gold. Use the promo code.
Absolutely.
Hey, fellas, thanks for signing my hat.
Well, we both signed it. So were you the first?
Yeah, I was.
You were the maiden voyage. Okay.
I
would have thought I was being punked too, but I saw all of your signatures. So I'm like, okay, well, this is legit then.
Okay. Do you think the team could set any school records this year? My voice is still recovering from all of our touchdowns. And I've been struggling too here this week. Nole fan like this. I can either, it's not their fault, it's my fault. I can either go right to Nole fan and find exactly what I want in 5 seconds, or I just get lost in the sauce. I want to find records, right? Isn't there a records tab or something here?
Yeah, but you could just look at, there is. I'm trying to think of they're not going to set the record for most touchdowns. That's 94. What do they have so far? 6. So if they scored 6 the rest of the season, if they played 15 games, they would get close. But they're not going to get to 94 touchdowns. I don't know. I don't know maybe Coleman with touchdown catches if he's going to score 3 a game.
Yeah, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, I don't know that any other, I think offensive records is what we're thinking about, but and again, it's not a huge deal, but taking 4 or 5 plays from every game gives you a little less chance to score points. And I just think that that 2013 offense was just historic. And I don't know that they can catch those numbers.
Look at that. I didn't realize Cam Akers has the career record for single season rushes in that game against Louisiana Monroe. Jimbo was dipping out here. See, this is the thing. These are single game ones. I don't know how to get to career. Although career is probably not the best one to go to because these guys are on a shorter timeline than most here.
It goes game season. Yeah.
What about Jordan tying 6 touchdown passes?
I mean, yeah, that's something. I think it's more about a season record, though, so you'd have to go down to the next section than just doing something in a game. But I wouldn't see a running back breaking any season records. I wouldn't see Jordan breaking any season records. I think, and 94 extra points is just too much.
Okay. Yeah, no, Dalvin's records are pretty solid.
What's the season record for receiving yards? Keep going. I know this is great podcasting. There we go, right there.
Ron Sellers, 1496.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. And touchdowns, what he scored touchdowns there?
He had 12 that year. Andre Cooper's got 15.
That could be in play.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be in play. I mean, there's nothing fluky about the way Keon goes and gets the ball in the end zone. So that play is probably going to be dialed up a few more times this year.
What about 2013? Kelvin had 14, Rashad had 10. Do you think Johnny and Keon have more than 24 combined?
That's yeah, sure. I'll say that. Sure, they'll be close. Especially
Thanks,
if they play
John.
14 or 15 games.
Yeah. Thank you, John. Appreciate you, man. Z-Chan in the house. Can play some high-octane stuff now.
What?
Z-Chan, the dentist. $50 in the jar. Thank you, Z-Chan. Appreciate you, man.
I hung out with him and his wife a good bit on Saturday night while you were hanging out with Omar at the other bar. We went and found a quieter place.
Yeah, great.
You'd like his wife more than him. Hey, Z-Chan, we love you. We love you, buddy. You're a good guy.
What does that mean? In decibels, how loud will the stadium be Saturday for the first war chant at home?
Oh, there we go. I would say, look, the 8:30 game, I don't think it's a sellout. I know the students sold out. I would say somewhere in the rock or pop concert, about 120. Not a jackhammer. It's not going to get up to 130. It won't be a jackhammer or a jet engine.
Okay.
What do you think, Aslan?
I'll go 120. I mean, yeah, I'll go 120. It's
8:30. It's 8:30. I know people will be pretty lubed up and loosened up there early, but it better happen early because I think by 10 or 10:30, the crowd will wane and maybe the noise will wane, unless it's a competitive game, which we all hope it isn't.
Again, not to say that I'm rooting for Miami, but in this season, when you have a pretty lean home schedule, wouldn't it be cool to have a really big-time game at Doak for these fans? Because we were kind of robbed that in 2013. The Miami game, they were ranked. We all came down. It was an electric game, but like it wasn't 14 Notre Dame. It wasn't 2011 Oklahoma. It was kind of close, though. I don't know. But, yeah, like Southern Miss isn't going to give us that kind of juice. So, for the people, I hope something like that can work out.
It might be Duke.
Maybe Duke, yeah. Could be Duke.
Could be Duke. Duke can. The people show up for Duke. I can't wait to see how many fans Duke brings.
Thanks again, Z-Chan. You're the man. Shawnee Cash. Look at this. Shawnee Cash on the beach with his significant other. Shout out to you, Shawnee. We doing the super late start because of those new LED flashy lights? Gives them total darkness for the run out in Osceola, ? That would be cool. They might, yeah. It's the best, tradition in college sports. It could maybe even be better and elevated with this new lighting structure, right?
Sure. What did you think of how Osceola performed on Sunday and what he and Renegade did?
I didn't feel good about him getting off the horse. I understand it's artificial turf, so rearing up and trying to plan into that stuff isn't practical, but isn't the whole thing he only gets off the horse for Florida?
I mean, that was hey, but it worked. Maybe he should get off the horse all the time. Yeah. Maybe that's the new tradition is getting off the horse. And that was another fun part of being in the press box is hearing that LSU buffoon say how racist Florida State is. But you know what? He had to drive all the way back to Baton Rouge.
Yeah. All right. I think that's everything. Well, not everything. I mean, if we got to everything, we'd be here forever.
Yeah. By the way, thank you, Shawnee. It's very, very, very nice of you, man. And yeah, those flashy lights, we didn't get to see them. And
who's this? Who's this popping up on our YouTube feed?
Oh yeah, old Steph dog, the fiance herself, Stephanie. Won't be Gudeman for long. It'll be Clark. Maybe by the next time she posts on a YouTube show, it'll be Stephanie Clark. Because I don't want her posted on YouTube shows. We don't need that. But yeah, what was I going? Oh, we haven't seen the LED lights flash, have we?
No,
We didn't see it at the scrim or the practice they had at Doak.
Yeah.
So we're all going to get to see that in person. But Steph is right. Cassidy is the one that she did tell a funny story about Z-Chan because she didn't. It didn't sound like she cared, but she was talking about Z-Chan wouldn't admit to her how much he might be throwing Warchant's way occasionally. But yeah, Z-Chan's doing all right. Lucrative.
Butch Cox are going to figure it out together as a team how the new lighting system is going to look like. I think it's going to look quite nicely. Last one on the way out, R. Wilmer. Guys, what's the temperament of the team at practice this week? Corey, you talked about it, right?
You saw them both. You saw them both days. I only saw them the one. It seemed like the exact same practice that I'd been watching since August 1st. The exact same.
Yeah. Again, they only had one bad day, and it was whatever that was against LSU that we were out there. I think maybe the day after.
The Wednesday. I think he said Wednesday.
Yeah, that day they didn't look good. They didn't. It was fine. I wasn't panicking. Just they didn't look good. Otherwise, you wouldn't know if they were getting ready for LSU again or Florida or Miami or Southern Miss. So they're pretty even keel. Norvell's been on them. The coaches were on them. Same drills, same going through the – I don't want to call it going through the motions, but the same level of urgency and everything they were doing. So somebody was saying, like, what number do you want to see to make you feel good, man? I really hope they hold them under – 14 points, man. I think I picked. I shouldn't say. You can watch a Warchant report powered by Cummins to find out what I picked. But
spoil it.
Yeah, if they allow, I don't want like 20. I don't want to win 41-20. Like I want to win nice, man. I want to win nice.
What a day! What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
41-20, and we're like, what is this? What is this? Sound the alarms. This isn't fun.
Yeah, Rob Krause. What is the number in the first half? To make you feel like this team is at another level, high 20s, low 30s, essentially avoiding the hangover effect and come out not playing with their foot on the gas or with their food. Oh, yeah, not playing with their food. I got it. I got what you're saying there.
He knows what
NC State-esque 2013.
Oh, 35-0 in the first quarter. I don't know that you can expect that. I mean, I think, look, if they're comfortably out in front going into halftime, again, this is not Catawba College or Valdosta State. No offense to my Blazer fans out there. This is a real program that went to a bowl last year. They're going to try to compete. I don't think if they're up 35-0, that's yes, then I think you might be looking at the best team in the country without a doubt, because that's crazy. But again, because what it would say about their mindset, because I just. It's not this easy to score on 6 straight drives like they did against LSU. There are going to be some hiccups. So you just hope, I think, going back to a question from earlier in the show, get off to a better start. Like they did score on their first drive, which is fine, and they got to stop on the first drive on defense after a 55-yard play they gave up. But just look comfortable and confident throughout. Score on 4 of your 5 drives. 3 touchdowns, 24. 24 would make me feel good going into halftime.
Corey, can I have the last word, please?
Please go. Do it. I'm done. I'm not going to take my headset off because I want to hear you.
Christian John Van Fist was saying, does no one see these? Come on. And their question was, from 2 weeks of football, which team is a matchup problem for FSU? The Kansas City Chiefs. That's a wrap for us. Thanks for watching Wake Up Warchant Live, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill and Vitamin Energy. Thanks to Aaron, Wilson, Lemieux, Thomas Giddings. I always feel bad saying your guys' last names, but your name's on the screen beforehand, so it shouldn't be that bad. James L., Ant, Patrick Vickers, Pete Mercer, James B., High Score, Nate, Don Rurik, Shawnee Cash, Z-Chan, and John Decker. And thanks all of you for asking the questions that we were able to get to. Head over to warchant.com. Plenty more going on over there. We're done for the week on Wake Up Warchant, but the Warchant report's going to drop tomorrow. We got the matchup analysis, happy hour, 5 o'clock Corner Pocket on Friday, pregame show, Hotel Indigo, 5:30. Come hang out. Postgame show, Gene Williams, Tom Lang. You got a real football team, and you got a real staff covering them. So come on home to warchant.com. He's Corey Mazon. Thanks for listening and watching Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill and Vitamin Energy.